And that's the game, folks. That's right. So, we have with this Packers Seahawks game, it was very, very good. It started out kind of slow. So, mostly a field possession game at the beginning. Some shaky hands from Hollister did not help Seattle any in the beginning of the game. Packers were controlling the tempo with their running game very well. Seattle really had no early answers for Green Bay's defense. Green Bay's defense was holding really well and getting after Russell. Really, that never stopped. There was a missed field goal early for Seattle after, Russell really scrambles together a serious drive, and that would come up, So the good, honest ground game for the Packers was opening up plays like solid reverses and throws downfield that normally would have tighter windows for Aaron Rodgers, but now that he's got a running game, there's a lot more openings. So Davante Adams, with his very good route running, and even Jimmy Graham multiple times during the game getting involved, they had some seriously good plays that really are only there because of the threat of the run. Preston Smith's fingerprints were all over this game. He had some big hits on Russell Wilson in big moments. There was a little scare with him getting injured. A weird, pinball kind of play where one of the other Packers players hits Russell and it just jolts Preston Smith's helmet back in a weird, awkward way, and you think maybe he's going to be out with a neck injury or something, but thankfully he came back and really had some key hits on Russell Wilson, including a late sack that really killed the drive. Seattle obviously missed Chris Carson. Lynch still provided a spark. I mean, that guy is money at the goal line multiple times today. Proved that, and seems that Mr. Pete Carroll learned his lesson from the Super Bowl a few years ago, but, obviously that wouldn't really matter. They had moments for Green Bay where, the touchdown drive, the fourth touchdown drive for Green Bay looked easy. It looked easy, okay? Spectacular route running from Davante Adams, a key play down to Jimmy Graham, very well-placed ball. And again, the running from Aaron Jones really just opens up so much for this offense that Aaron Rodgers hasn't had access to in years. So Seattle came back. Okay, Seattle came back big, mostly because Russell Wilson, the scramble drill for him is insane. He had some key runs, which were not planned, okay, definitely a scramble situation, that held together drives. And he was pumping his guys up on the sideline. Really showing the leadership that warranted that huge contract extension he just got. Aaron Jones gets dinged up a little bit at the beginning of the second half, and Seattle's all over Green Bay, climbing back in it. So Aaron Jones really was underused for a very long period of time. He got hit in the backfield and, came up a little lame. Came back for some big runs late, but there's about a quarter of play halfway through the third to halfway through the fourth where he's just entirely absent. And that gave Seattle time to get back into it. Their defense made some key plays. They had a really good A-gap blitz that killed the drive for the Packers. So they were obviously still fighting. But it was just too much from the early scoring of the Packers for Seattle to overcome. All right, without the full complement of the running game, they really had to rely on Russell Wilson, and scrambles was all he had in a couple of drives. And there were a few weird defensive plays, especially from Clowney. There was a couple of drives that the Packers had that got extended because, Clowney got a little handsy around the helmet area a couple of times during this game. And even if they weren't necessarily the right call, it's going to get called every time. And yeah, you start to think would Frank Clark have made that play? So those questions are going to come into play for Seattle. So it's the end of their run. You can easily say that this is entirely because of Chris Carson's injury, though. Seattle is a run-first team. And they're forced in this situation in the playoffs to be pass first, let the passing game open up the running game. Now, you had some very talented receivers there making good plays. I mean, Metcalf was making really good plays early, Lockett making very good plays late, but it just wasn't enough. It was too much Devontae Adams. It was too much Aaron Jones. And Preston Smith came to play. Okay, Za'Darius had some good plays too, but this was definitely Preston's game. He had his fingerprints all over Russell Wilson in this game, and that's a huge difference, okay? This Packers team is different. With the running game and the personnel they have on the defensive line now, with Za'Darius and Preston Smith, this is a different team. It's built better. It's built for long-term success. And that's what you need at this point in the playoffs, okay? You need a strong running game. You need a damn good pass rush. And that's how everybody's winning the Super Bowl these past few years. If you don't have those things, you do not win. So your defense can be great. But if it's a bend but don't break kind of defense instead of an attacking style defense, you cannot create the short yardage situations that's really money for good offenses. A good offensive staff, given a short field, should always get a touchdown. And we've seen that multiple times throughout these playoffs. It showed up here. All right, field position is always big. The Hollister hands issue early in the game made it so Green Bay was able to put really good drives together, good points on the board, because they had great field position. So very much a three-phase game. We've seen it multiple times this playoffs where field position and special teams comes into play. That missed field goal early by Seattle just looms so large in this game. With the score being so close at the end, it kills them. Anywho, that's what I have for this one, guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Hit my other post-game videos for the playoff games this weekend. I missed the first one. Sorry, guys. I had to work. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button and be on the lookout for some pre-game videos and pre-draft videos coming out soon. Later, guys.